On June the 9th, we drove from Santa Fe to the Sanctuary of Chimayo. This was about 27 miles. Following that, we drove about 56 miles through the Carson National Forest to the Taos area. On June the 10th, we drove 12 miles to the nearby Rio Grande Gorge so I could fly my drone in the gorge. We then drove about 83 miles to the Valles Caldera Preserve and then about 89 miles to the Sandia Peak Aerial Tramway. On June 11th, we drove about 5 miles to visit the Museum of Nuclear Science and History in Albuquerque. Following that, we drove about 145 miles to Gallup, where we visited the Route 66 Loop statue. On June 12th, the last day of our wonderful trip, we drove about 203 miles to the Tonto Natural Bridge State Park and then 97 miles to our starting point in Scottsdale. It's Monday, June the 9th, and we're going to
Taos, New Mexico. First, we're going to stop at Chimayo Church, and then we're on to San Francisco of Asisi. Then we're going to go to the Taos Visitor Center to find out what other attractions we can see besides this Taos Plaza, Kit Carson Home and Museum, the Taos Pueblo, the Rio Grande Gorge Bridge, and then we're going to stop for the night at Quality Inn.
The Sanctuary of Chimayo is one of the most famous pilgrimage sites in the United States. It's often called the Lourdes of America because of its reputation for miraculous healings. The sanctuary dates back to the early 19th century and was built around a small chapel that reportedly sits on holy ground. Legend says a crucifix was miraculously found buried in the earth there, and the soil, called the sacred dirt, has been credited with healing powers, especially for ailments like arthritis and stomach problems. Pilgrims often take some home, sprinkle it in their gardens, or just keep it for protection. Every year, especially around Holy Week, thousands of pilgrims make the trek to the sanctuary, some on foot as a sign of devotion. The site has beautiful adobe architecture, colorful folk art, and a peaceful garden that invites reflection. The Carson National Forest is an impressive expanse of public land covering roughly 1.5 million acres. The forest is named after Kit Carson, the famous frontiersman and scout who played a complex role in the region's history. The San Francisco de Asis Mission Church is a historic and iconic Catholic church located in Ranchos de Taos, about 4 miles south of Taos in northern New Mexico. Built between 1772 and 1816, it's one of the region's best preserved examples of Spanish colonial adobe architecture and remains an active parish while also serving as a beloved cultural landmark. The Kit Carson House and Museum is one of the most important historic sites in northern New Mexico. This very modest adobe home was built around 1825 and later became the residence of Kit Carson, a famous and controversial frontiersman, scout, and U.S. Army officer. He bought the house in 1843 as a wedding gift for his wife, Josepha Jaramillo, and the family lived there for about 25 years. Today, the house is preserved as a museum and designated a National Historic Landmark, giving visitors a rare look at daily life in 19th century Taos. This silk dress was worn by Josephita Carson, the youngest daughter of Kit and Josepha. Both parents died within 6 weeks of her birth on April 13, 1868. She died in Las Vegas, New Mexico at the age of 24. Taos Pueblo is an ancient village belonging to the Taos Pueblo people. It has been inhabited for over 1,000 years, making it one of the oldest continuously lived-in settlements in the United States. In 1992, it was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognizing both its cultural importance and its extraordinary preservation. The Pueblo is famous for its multi-story adobe buildings, constructed from earth, straw, and water. Some of the structures rise up to 5 stories tall and are built in stepped layers, almost like a natural skyscraper made of mud. Traditionally, there was no electricity or running water in the main pueblo, and many residents still maintain this way of life inside the historic core. Entry between floors was originally done using ladders, not staircases. The community is centered around the Rio Pueblo, a small stream that provides water. Taos Pueblo isn't a ruin or a museum. About 150 people live there full-time, while many more tribal members live nearby and return for ceremonies. It remains deeply spiritual and culturally active, with religious ceremonies and feast days, traditional crafts like pottery and jewelry, and strong preservation of language and customs. It's Tuesday, June the 10th, and we're going back to the Rio Grande Gorge to try to fly the drone again. The Rio Grande Gorge is a deep canyon carved by the Rio Grande River over millions of years. It's located just northwest of Taos. The landscape suddenly drops away into a rugged volcanic chasm. The gorge can be up to 800 feet deep. It was formed through volcanic activity and erosion over geologic time. Is part of the Rio Grande del Norte National Monument. Spanning this massive canyon is the Rio Grande Gorge Bridge, one of the most iconic landmarks in New Mexico. It was completed in 1965. It's about 565 feet above the river, making it one of the highest bridges in the United States. It's part of U.S. Route 64. The Valles Caldera National Preserve is one of the most unique landscapes in the American Southwest. It's a huge ancient volcanic crater that looks more like a wide-open mountain valley than a typical national park. The preserve sits inside a gigantic volcanic caldera in the Jemez Mountains of northern New Mexico. The caldera was formed about 1.25 million years ago after a huge eruption. It's about 13 miles wide and is one of the best preserved volcanic calderas in the world. By comparison, Yellowstone is about 30 by 45 miles in size. Like Yellowstone, Valles Caldera has geothermal activity with hot springs and warm ground, but is nowhere near as active as Yellowstone. Before becoming a national preserve in 2000, the land was part of a large private ranch known as the Valles Caldera Ranch. It has a long history of ranching, hunting, and even some movie filming. The preserve provided settings for The Lone Ranger, 2013, The Magnificent Seven, 2016, and Tom Selleck's Last Stand at Sabre River, 1997. The Jemez National Recreation Area was designated in 1993 and is within the very scenic Jemez Mountains. It covers about 57,000 acres and is part of the larger Santa Fe National Forest. It is known for its mix of forests, red rock canyons, rivers, and volcanic features. The area is very popular for hiking, camping, fishing, and a very pretty drive along New Mexico Highway 4. The Sandia Peak Aerial Tramway is one of New Mexico's most popular attractions. The views are spectacular. It's one of the longest aerial tramways in North America. It travels a distance of 2.7 miles up the western face of the Sandia Mountains. It ascends from the lower tram terminal at about 6,559 feet to the upper terminal at 10,378 feet, which is almost 4,000 feet. The journey takes about 15 minutes to complete. The tramway has carried more than 12 million passengers since its opening on May 7, 1966. New tram cars were installed in 1986 and new track cables in 2009. New tram cars were again installed in May of 2016. The longest span is between the second tower and the top terminal. This span is the third longest clear tramway span in the world at a length of 7,720 feet.
So the city's been there for more than 300 years. The spot in the school is really cool. We also have red tail hawks that some people don't like the spot, but most people. It's actually fun. But we don't want to do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Coming off the top.
get about 20 feet up.
It's about
And 15 minutes for this train means you're safe to exit. So.
Flight will be boarding in about 10 to 15 minutes. If you do want to catch this next flight down, please come to the upper terminal.
The 10-3 restaurant is located at the top of the peak at 10,300 feet. Reservations are recommended. Check for the days that it is closed. The National Museum of Nuclear Science and History is a one-of-a-kind museum in Albuquerque. It's dedicated to exploring the science, history, and cultural impact of the atomic age. It is the only congressionally chartered museum in the United States focused on nuclear science. The museum takes visitors through the full story of nuclear science from early discoveries to modern uses. It covers the basics of atomic structure and radiation. It has hands-on exhibits explaining how nuclear energy works. It even has interactive displays that make complex science surprisingly easy to understand. A major focus is on the World War II Manhattan Project, which resulted in the first atomic bomb. In addition, we were surprised that there were very interesting displays in the outdoor area. There was a B-29 bomber, a B-47 bomber, missiles, rockets, and military equipment. The Continental Divide is a massive natural boundary that stretches all the way across North America, and it includes a stretch across New Mexico. It's not actually a single line that you can see on the ground. It's actually a concept that defines how water flows across the continent. It is a ridgeline that separates watersheds. On the west side of the divide, rivers eventually flow toward the Pacific Ocean. On the east side of the divide, rivers eventually flow toward the Atlantic Ocean. This is true even if water drops fall only a few feet apart. Gallup is often called the heart of Indian country. This is due to its deep connections to Native American culture, art, and trading traditions. It's also famous for being a key stop along the famous Route 66, which gives it a classic Americana vibe. Its population is about 20,000 and is located at the edge of the Navajo Nation. Gallup was named after David L. Gallup. He was a paymaster for the Atlantic and Pacific Railroad. When the city was founded in 1881, it served as a railhead, and workers would say they were going to Gallup to collect their wages, and somehow that stuck as the town's name. While in Gallup, we stopped by the Route 66 Loop statue. It's one of the newer roadside monuments celebrating the legendary Route 66. Prior to interstate highways, Route 66 was the mother road that carried travelers from Chicago to Los Angeles. It was more than 2,000 miles long. The statue celebrates the history and cultural significance of the highway for Gallup and the Southwest. It's meant to be a symbol of the open road. Thursday, June the 12th, and we're heading to Payson, Arizona to see some sights.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Happy birthday, Gary. Payson, Arizona is known as the heart of Arizona because it is geographically located near the center of the state. Payson is at 5,000 feet above sea level, and it is in the world's largest ponderosa pine forest. It's surrounded by the Tonto National Forest. The Payson Rodeo, which dates to 1884, is the world's oldest continuous rodeo. The Tonto National Bridge State Park is believed to be the largest natural travertine bridge in the world. A travertine bridge is a huge, naturally occurring arch formed when spring water, heavily rich in calcium carbonate, deposits rock over a canyon or creek over thousands of years. Unlike typical erosion-carved stone arches, these geological formations grow as mineral-rich water constantly adds new layers to the bridge. The bridge stands 183 feet high and spans a 400-foot-long tunnel that measures 150 feet wide at its widest point. Garry and I met a very nice couple with their very young twins. They had just finished hiking a fairly difficult-looking trail. We were impressed. They were impressed with us after they found out how old we were. Vicky and I love visiting New Mexico with Veronica and Garry. Many thanks to Veronica and Garry for doing the vast majority of the trip planning. Also, thank you, Garry, for doing all of the driving, which turned out to be more than 1,800 miles in 8 days.